David Robinson, yo. David Robinson, David Robinson, yo. David Robinson. David Robinson, David Robinson, yeah. Well, it's going on 3 years, he arrived again. Real talk, real combo, David Robinson. Yo, it's Tuesday, he be live again. He's divine and man. I'm glad to have him, I hope he sign again. Well, he frees us, and he feeds us. David Robinson, he loves Jesus. And he frees us, and he feeds us. David Robinson, he loves Jesus. Yo, David Robinson, David Robinson, David Robinson,
And good evening, and welcome to the David Robinson Show. Real talk, real people, real conversations. Tonight, topic is about positive people doing positive things to make a positive difference in their lives and in the lives of others. I have a special guest who is always doing that, not only making a difference in his life, but the lives of others. Without further ado, welcome to the David Robinson Show, Dr. Fred Newsom himself.
How you doing, my brother, King David Robinson? Good to be on your show again, my brother. It's always a pleasure to be amongst royalty.
Well, we're going to jump right into this interview, sir. What was it like? You know, you wear many hats. You've done a lot of different things. But to be a candidate running for president, what was that like, sir?
I tell you, I told the team this is one of the most highlighted moments of things I've done in my life. This has to be the top on the agenda. It felt really good to promote all over the country, to promote all over the world my candidacy for a write-in candidate for the president of the United States, and I ran under my own political party, the Newsom Party. So God, it was just, I'm telling you, this is one for the history books right here. This is amazing.
Man, it's got to be. You know, here you're talking about one of the most top seats, one of the highest seat that you can sit and run and be and to run for the president of the United States. Man, you know, and here you are still contesting some things that we're not going to jump into unless you want to. But here you are one of the ones that, you know, being all over and getting nominated and having your own team. And what is the name of your team, should I say?
It's the Newsom Mohammed presidential election team. That's the name of the team, the Newsom Mohammed presidential election team. Empress Jennifer Jealousy Mohammed. She was my running mate in the election. The party's the Newsom Party. Okay, so you got the Democratic Party, you got the Republican Party, you got the Newsom Party. And definitely I want to get into some other things that, you know, we've been blasted all over the place. Blasting all over, contesting the results of the election, and yeah, we got the agenda of all agendas in the country and the world.
Mm-hmm. So let's jump right into some of these specifics of things that that maybe some people don't know about, that you would like to share, that could help boost some things in your favor. Let's jump right into that, sir.
Okay, excellent. I do really running in this campaign with Trump, Kamala, myself, and there was a bunch of other candidates around the country that ran for the office of the presidency. I came on as a write-in candidate, and basically with me, I asked people around the country to write my name in. So I was on different broadcasts, almost myself and Empress Jennifer Jealousy Mohammed. We're on at least probably over 200 broadcasts in less than 30 days around the country, around the world. And that garnered us a lot of attention. And with the presidency and the way the election came out, now, you know, looking at how the election was outlined and so on and so forth, and I looked at, you know, one, how did Mr. Trump get that many votes, which put a question up in my mind, you know, like how in the world could that have happened? Because I know running for the presidency, you can spend no less than $1 billion, no less than $1 billion. But the amount of votes, electoral college votes he got, he would have had to spend at least 2 billion to get that amount of votes. But when I did the research on his background, he only spent like 800 million. Well, 800 million is nothing for the presidency. That's not enough to to take the White House. Me and my team, we came with a strategy. We basically did flyers of over 200 cities around the country, and then we did like a couple hundred other countries, and we just blasted those flyers out. And friends of ours all across the country help us do that.
Mm-hmm.
But now, that being the case, when I looked at the amount of votes Mr. Trump got, and I knew that could not be possible, impossible, because I've been doing this a long time. They're new to this. This is my fifth election, so I'm very familiar. But what I noticed is at one point in time, when we look at January 6, 2021, when the insurrection took place at the Capitol in Washington, D.C., well, there was about 1,400 people that went to trial for that. Donald Trump didn't go to trial. Insurrectionist that was identified. Now, the outline is if you running for office, the 14th Amendment of the United States, paragraph number 3, if you're running for the office of the presidency, you cannot be involved in an insurrection against the country. Well, when he signed up to run for the presidency on November 15th, 2022, he was involved. Now, that's a problem because at that point in time, he didn't qualify for the presidency. Now, later on June 28, 2024, the United States Supreme Court downplayed the charges from insurrection to trespassing. So clearly, someone was trying to kind of work the system to try to get him in under the presidency. But the mistake they made is he was still under his old registration when he was considered part of the insurrectionists in the country. So that means at that point in time, November 15th, 2022, he didn't qualify for the office of the presidency because he was a part of this insurrection. It didn't say he had to be guilty of it. He just had to be a participant, which he was. He gave the speech at the Capitol, and once he gave the speech at the Capitol, once he gave his speech, they told him to go down to the Capitol and, hey, raise such and such. You know, I ain't gonna say the word, but raise such and such. Well, that was a participator in insurrection, so he didn't even qualify to run for the office of the presidency. And I contacted the Federal Election Commission, and I sent a letter to them stating that Donald did not qualify for the office of the presidency because if the Supreme Court made their decision on June 20th, 2024 to downgrade the charges, he would have had to re-register on June 29th, 2024. Now, I don't see nowhere on the paperwork that he re-registered for the office. And since he's running under his old registration during the time he was considered insurrectionist, that means he doesn't qualify. Even though the United States Supreme Court did what they did to change the charge from insurrection to trespassing, he still had to re-register for the office of the presidency. And I saw no paperwork on where he re-registered for the office of the presidency. That means he doesn't qualify. And Kamala doesn't qualify because she conceded the election to Mr. Trump. So those two are out. I'm the last person standing. So I contested it, and now I'm waiting for the results from the Federal Election Commission on what is there going to be their outcome of, because really on January 20th, 2025, by law, they have to confirm me as the president of the United States. They have no choice. This is by law. Because those two, Kamala dropped out and Trump doesn't qualify. So unless they've got some documentation or some evidence that somebody has been hiding, I haven't seen it yet. And my team we do a very thorough research. And I see nothing to verify that he re-registered. And if he's going under the old registration, he does not qualify for the office of the presidency because he was considered an insurrectionist on November 15th, 2022. And I printed off his information, sent it to the Federal Election Commission for them to look at everything and look at all the information and show me where he re-registered for the office. And that's why I'm everywhere telling people no, Mr. Trump doesn't qualify for the office of the presidency. And by that grounds alone, they have to confirm me on January 20th, 2025 by the law. That's the law. If they manipulate the law like they've been doing, hey, then we got a horse of a different color.
So let me ask you a question, because you gave us some loaded information there. So I don't think America, some know, some don't know about what you just said. So even though they are going forward as him being the elect president, and he's already choosing people and making stuff, but When do you expect to get an answer? When is, since you've already submitted the information?
Well, they said it takes 7 to 10 days. So I submitted it last week. So I'll give them at least till, well, December's next week. So I'll give them at least till like December 5th or December 6th. And because the holidays is afoot as well. So I'll give them till at least December 5th or December 6th to get back to me with an answer. And if they
Wow.
don't get back to me with an answer, then I will be contacting them again. So like I said, this is not new to me. I love doing this. I should be my own lawyer because I
So,
love doing it. But they have to respond back to me, and I want to see what their response is. And I'm not talking about no off the wall stuff. I want to see a good, firm response. And if they don't respond in the favor that I'm looking for, and they try to divert the law, then I may have to take legal actions against them, which I don't mind at all. Doesn't bother me at all.
so how would things look for you if things did go, if he does not qualify, and the fact that she dropped out, and here you are in office? Do you have a team, and do you have things that to spring forward? If that's the case, if it does falls that way, this would make history altogether.
Yeah, and actually, me and my team, I've been working on, like I said, I've been working on this for like 15 years. How to change the country, how to deal with foreign dignitaries, if wars broke out, how to change the economy, what to do at the border, what to do with education, healthcare. I've been working on this for many, many years. Like I said, they're new to this, and this is why they're making some mistakes because they're not familiar. And that's the problem when you got people in office that's not familiar. Keep in mind, the only way they got in office is because they got more votes, but that doesn't mean they came with the experience, knowledge, or education. They just had more votes, and then how they manufactured them votes is another outline. But the point is that what me and my team bring to the table, because immediately we want to eliminate homelessness, but there's a lot of people across the country that don't want to eliminate homelessness because they get paid a lot of money for the homeless people that's on the street, and they get it yearly. So they don't want to eliminate homelessness. That's why you see homeless people still on the streets. But homelessness can be gotten rid of easily because we can just simply build apartments, rooms. Do you realize how much money the federal government throw away, but we won't build a house or anything for our homeless citizens? I said that I told somebody asked me in one of the interviews. They asked me what would be my number one job. I said to preserve all life in the country, to
Wow.
preserve our life in the country. I don't want to see one person dying. And somebody said, "Well, I thought you was going to say education. I thought you was going to say the military. I thought you was going to say healthcare." I said, "No, everybody says that, but nobody does nothing."
Right.
My number one job is to preserve our life in the country, and that's starting with the homeless people that's on the streets. That's I know the winter is coming up, and each year people on the street freeze to death. That should be everybody's concern in the country is to preserve our life. During the summertime, they die of heat exhaustion. That should be the number one job of anybody, whether the mayor, the governor, the president. That should be the number one job of anybody in the country. All those other things come secondary. You got to attend to the most immediate need first, and then
Amen.
everything else comes after that.
Well, you've been doing this for some time with the homeless, and I know you've been running and doing things and to help and pushing and making things happen. So, you know, another question I want to ask you, how, at the end of the day, we're talking about this could go either way because you don't have a 4 years. Do you see yourself, if not this time, running for president again in 4 years?
Well, one of our biggest things is building the Newsom party because I've talked to different people around the country, and different people are running for political office because of the conversation I had with them or the things they see me doing. And they see me run for office, and now they said, "Hey, we're going to take a shot at it." And that's what I want to encourage the whole country is to do what you feel. Run for office. If you think you can change your city, your town, your state, your country, run for office. Because those people that are in office are no different than you, me, or anybody else. They're nothing special. They're nothing. They're the same human beings just like we are. And I encourage people to run for office, and that's one of my biggest outlines is to build the Newsom Party to where we have people running for office all over the country. and the Newsom Party in other countries as well. So you can be in more than just one country. You can be in the United States. You can be on the African continent. You can have the Newsom Party everywhere around the world. And that's my outline, because the Newsom Party is a party of righteousness. We said, listen, this is what we want to do. We want you to treat people right. It's just that simple. It's not complicated, not confusing. Just treat people right. That's all we're looking for. So yeah, we have a huge worldwide agenda that, like I said, we've been working on for years, years and years and years. So we're not just building this up overnight. We've been working on this for years.
So, to my viewers that are watching, Mr. Newsom himself, one of the candidates that ran for president and still is in his request for office, what would you say to my viewers that are watching? And I really don't get into politics, but but that's what you do. What would you say? What's important? What should people know that is important about when they decide to elect someone for office? What are some important things that they should want to know? Not just
That
voting
is
for them because they are white, voting for them because they're black. What are important things they should know about that person that they're voting to put in office?
That's an excellent question, and you want to see what everybody's bringing to the table. You want to see what individual going to benefit the country the most. Because the bottom line is, you want to know, like, one of the platforms we put forth is, we see all this money going to Wall Street, doing bailouts, doing stimulus packages. Wall Street's getting trillions and trillions of dollars. I said, well, listen, we can take that same money Wall Street's getting, and we can turn around and give it to the citizens, the different households in America. So there's 131 million households in America. I said, and I evaluated the country, and I've been from place to place, city to city, state to state, and I said, what is the most thing people need? See, some people think they need $1 million, $500,000. I said, no. As I evaluate the country, I said, if the people had an extra $500 a month, an extra $1,000 a month, or an extra $1,500 a month, that would make their life a little bit more comfortable. Not saying it would be everything in a nutshell, but you imagine if they got an extra $1,000 a month, that take care of your gas and electric, that take care of your phone bill, that take care of your water bill, that'll take care of those smaller bills that you may not have money to meet every month. But in my outline, I said, well, if we do $1,000 a month with 131 million Americans around the country, that comes to $1.5 trillion. But I said, in the last several presidents, they have given Wall Street somewhere around 3.5 to 3.7 trillion dollars, where Wall Street just put the money in their pocket and nobody else sees it. I said, no, let's take that same money and give each American household $1,000. And I said, let's try it for 1 year. Because I know what the American people are going to do. They're going to take that money, they're going to pay their rent, they're going to pay their mortgage, they're going to pay their car payment, their car insurance, their phone bill. So they're going to take the money and put it back into the economy. Wall Street is not going to do that. They're going to pocket the money. And I said, no, I'd rather take that same money, put it back into the economy, because it'll be blessing the American citizens, it'll be blessing the companies. And guess what? We'll get a portion of that money back through taxes. So it's a win-win for everybody. Nobody loses in that outline. And I said, we'll try it the first year, and we're not going to spend the 3.7 trillion that Wall Street pocketed. I said, let's try it the first year, spend 1.5 trillion dollars, and if it goes good, and I know it will, because the people are going to spend the money, I said we could try again another year. If it goes good and it helps us reduce the deficit, we're on a win-win outline. We're on a win-win outline. You cannot beat this strategy nowhere around the world. Nowhere around the world, because the same American people that are working to pay taxes that comes out of the check, we're turning around and giving them a little bit of that money back. But now it's not only helping Wall Street, it's helping the country, it's helping the citizens, it's helping our economy, it's helping the business. Everybody wins. Nobody loses in that scenario. But with what the past presidents have done, we all lost in that, because they take all the money. We lost with Bush, we lost with Obama, we lost with Trump, we lost with all of them, because they took the money and gave it to Wall Street. Wall Street not giving no money back. That's how the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor, because that money they're giving to Wall Street is our tax dollars. The middle class and the poor, that's our tax dollars that Wall Street is pocketing. So no, we're going to change our whole scenario. We're changing our whole outline.
those that may want to follow you, those may want to ask you questions, those that may want to join your team, your campaign team, how can they get in touch with you, Dr. Newsom?
Well, actually, two ways. They can go to our website, www.newsomawards.com. There's a link on there that will take them straight to our Newsom Party website, one. Or two, they can inbox me, believe it or not, on Facebook, Frederick Ware Newsom. So they got a couple of choices, or they can email us at newsomkingdom@yahoo.com. So they can email us at newsomkingdom@yahoo.com, or contact me on Facebook, Frederick Ware Newsom, or they can go to our website, www.newsomawards.com, and they'll see a link on there, and it'll take them right to our Newsom Party website as well. So there's a few different ways they can contact us, and if they just want to be a part of what we're doing, because we're people are joining us everywhere, and it's amazing, it's exciting, and it's time for a change in America. It's time for a change in America. I don't want to hear no more lies from no politicians. I don't want to hear no tricks, no gimmicks. I don't want to hear none of that anymore. I'm done with that. That's over for me. Tell me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God, and that's what I'm looking for.
So, what are some of your strategies to actually to get Americans to know your campaign and to know what you are actually pushing for? You already presented it already, your plan, but how can we get more Americans to know about Dr. Fred Newsom and his campaign?
Well, with what's going on with the Federal Election Commission, I'm waiting for their response. But at the same time, I'm doing interviews on TV, interviews on radio stations. I'm doing interviews. I've done so many post-election interviews, and I'm still doing post-election interviews. I told the team, this is our highlight point now. This is the time we get out and we talk to everybody. I'm trying to get on every radio broadcast, every TV broadcast, and share the same message. Let them understand what's going on in the country. Because right now this is the outline that we're in that phase now, that we want to get it out to the entire world. We want to get it out to everybody. What's going on and what's happening with the United States? Because a lot of countries are not happy with us right now. A lot of countries are not happy with us right now in the cabinet that the gentleman is picking. Those are like the worst of the worst people. Those are not the best people you want in your cabinet. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. Those are not the people you want in your cabinet, and definitely not the heads of anything in this country. The president has the opportunity to select at least 15 heads of different departments around the country, and what this gentleman is selecting, he's selecting the worst of the worst. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell y'all. And I don't know what kind of mess he putting together. This mess here. This is a total. This is a horse of 10,000 different colors. Because none of this makes any sense. I mean, you don't even have to have a brain, and this doesn't make any sense. So I don't know what he is doing.
Well, we know that's why God is still in control. We got to continue to believe God because it's only what He allows. And at the end of the day, we're still going to be covered, no matter who's in office. Things
Mm-hmm.
happen. I believe that we're in a season where I believe that people. When I say people, I'm talking about the church. We got to learn to
Mm-hmm.
come together. We got too many churches, but yet divided. It's
Right.
like your country. We are people of the United States, but yet we're divided. We have that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing I believe that really has to change. We have to implement and empower more unity because in unity
Mm-hmm.
there's strength, and in unity things can change. And
Mm-hmm.
unless that happens, we still gonna be people that's divided.
And let me say something. President Biden made a move that was one of the most terrible moves ever. One of the most terrible moves ever. He just last number I knew, he pulled on 73 judges and gave them lifetime appointments. 77, to be specific, 73 Democrat judges, and gave them lifetime appointments. Now, the problem with that is, anybody that know law like I do and know how to handle cases in court like I do, you know judges and justices can't show favoritism. The problem with these 73, and he identified them as black judges, and I understand Mr. Biden's outline, but he just drew a great wedge in the country for the mere fact he selected 73 Democratic judges, black judges, who I understand from having, like, I have a case with the United States Supreme Court. Me and the United States Supreme Court been going head to head. The top court in the world, me and them been going head to head because of the crooked mess they've been pulling on me. So I already know they're unjust. But now Trump is working with his justices on the Supreme Court. Biden just selected his judges. They just showed you the divide the country has now. That move Biden made created a great divide in the country, because if you're putting judges on the bench and you're specifically grabbing Democratic judges, that means those judges are going to come with a biased outline. Anybody that knows anything about the law, no judge, no justice can sit on the bench, and you already have preconceived notions. You already predetermined on how you're going to rule on a case. So all this was one of the worst moves he could make. I understand why he did it, but he just put a great divide in the country, and that was not a wise move. That was a terrible, terrible, terrible move. And that's the mess I'm going to have to undo now, because he gave these judges lifelong terms. That's a huge mistake. Huge mistake. And but this is what we're dealing with. This is why America is so in disarray as it is. And that move right there created a great divide in the country. And that has to be undone, because these judges are clearly going to be biased for the mere fact that he chose them, and he chose Democratic judges specifically. Clearly, they're showing you that you already know there's going to be a biased outline. And the judge and the justice cannot be biased. They cannot take anybody's side. And clearly, these judges, like the justices now, these judges are going to take people's sides, and that's going to be a mess in this country. I'm telling you right now, that is going to be a mess. President Biden had no clue on this planet what he was doing. Zero clue to make a move like that. A lot of people are applauding that move. That is one of the worst moves you can make, because you don't have a justice system anymore, because the judges are biased. You can't have a justice system and have biased judges and justices. You can't. That means your justice system don't exist anymore. Unfortunately, well, I'm gonna just say that has to be undone. That has to be undone, because that's a mess. He
Now,
just created a huge mess.
I didn't know about that either. I do have one question. Wanted to ask you whether it's you, elect President Trump, do you believe that he will carry on with that or he would change that?
No, I don't even believe he's gonna take office on January 20th, 2025. I don't believe he's gonna take office. He doesn't really have the wherewithal. He got too many against him. I'm talking about in Congress. I'm talking about in the federal government. He got too many people against him, and right now they're trying to bar him from federal buildings. They're trying to bar him from doing anything federal level. So they really don't want him anywhere near anything federal. So he's really creating a huge conundrum. He's creating a huge issue even with the federal government. So they really don't want him anywhere near any federal building. They don't want him touching nothing. And he's supposed to be the president. The president. Now keep in mind, he's not the president. He's not the president. Just because he's got the title of president elect doesn't mean he's the president. Because Biden's still the president. My disdain is the way Trump is prancing around the country and around the world as if he's the president, which clearly shows disrespect to President Biden. Clearly. It shows disrespect to President Biden as if President Biden do not exist. That's the most highest disrespectful level you can go to. That the president that's sitting right now, you treat him as if he do not exist. That is wrong on every level possible. So that's the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen a president do. Disregard a president who's already in office. That's
Wow.
just disrespectful.
Well, I can say this. He didn't want to meet with Obama, but he did meet with Biden in his office. So that was something different, you know?
Yeah. He met with him, but he met on his own agenda.
So, Dr. Newsom, what we're going to do, I want you to give us a couple points before we close. I'm going to definitely have to have you come back on because, man, you're loaded with a lot of information. once again, for my viewers that are watching, that want to ask you questions, that may want to join your team, just want to know more about you as the candidate that's actually running for president, may have an office if things don't go the way that it should in 2025. The whole world gonna know about Mr. Dr. Newsom as President Dr. Newsom.
Truth be told, come on, Jesus.
So once again, how can America, how can those viewers that are watching, how can they follow you? Those that want to join your team, those that may have questions, because I think a lot of times America, and especially our people, don't really know much about politics. But just how can they
Right.
follow you?
Well, actually, they can email me at newsomkingdom at yahoo.com, newsomkingdom at yahoo.com. They can contact me definitely on Facebook at Frederick Ware Newsom, Frederick Ware Newsom, or they can go to the website www.newsomawards.com, newsomawards.com, and those are, and I would definitely love to have them on the team. And I tell everybody to join this team, to join this party, you got to come with a righteous format. I tell them you don't have to be a Christian, you don't have to be Muslim, you don't have to be Buddhist, you don't have to be any of those things, but you do have to have the ability to want to do things right. That's all we're asking. Just have the ability to want to do things right, because we're not into the tricks and the gimmicks and this and that. We're not into none of that. Just come and want to have the ability to do things right, and that's exactly the people we're looking for.
Well, amen. Y'all heard it himself, Dr. Fred Newsom, candidate for president. We believe that, God does the impossible. And who
Exactly.
knows, come 20, January 20th, we may have that the world is not expecting. Melchizedek says, out of nowhere, Mr. Dr. Fred Newsom
Mm-hmm.
himself as president. Will be a different world, different whole different sight to people to see, and believe that some of the things that you want to cure homeless and to push for that to make a difference, I believe you will. And thank you once again, Dr. Fred Newsom, for coming
My
on the David
brother.
Robinson Show. Thank my
Appreciate
viewers
it.
for watching. Once again, this is a new platform over here. Let's give Sanjay a hand and Coyote over here. She's a one-man show making it happen over here in security. Let's give Sanjay